Hello, Barbara Lewis with Singing After 40. Welcome. I hope you're having a good day. Just a quick reminder to sign up for my new, free, for now, mini course called Take Your Song from Zero to Wow. The link will be right below this video. Don't miss out. Sometimes in a song, we singers run across a part of the song that simply won't work for us. The problem may be that we sang it many years ago and had this same problem, and somehow it's stuck in our brain as a psychological barrier. It may be that it's a more recent phenomenon, and every time we get to that part, we freeze. It's a high note that we can't get, or it's a cluster of notes, or it's a high part of the song that's got a lead up to a climax that just isn't working. Could also be an emotional moment where you just something inside you just can't release for that. These are things that I consider psychological barriers that we've come across again and again in a particular song. And I've got two suggestions for you and an example, and that's coming up right now. This is a big subject, and I could talk about it in many different ways from many different aspects, but I want to keep this simple. I want to give you just two pretty powerful but simple techniques that you can use when you feel that you've come up against something that's really a strong psychological barrier. For instance, in the example that I'm giving here, this is a song that many people try to sing, women. Some women may have done it much younger in their life and found that it was very difficult, or they have bad memories of singing this song and they're coming back to it now. Or you may be just starting this fresh. The song is On My Own. And when she comes to the climax of the song, and it goes like this: a world that's full of happiness that I have never known. So that last note there is the full voice, probably your belting voice, a C. The notes that come before really are more often than not in a really strong but narrow mix. You don't want a big fat sound up there, or else you're going to be singing the whole song in kind of a belting way, and that's hard on the voice. You want to get the feeling for the right way to sing that doesn't hurt your throat, doesn't strain you. So some people will sing this over and over again. They'll just do the same thing. Every day they'll try it, or they'll try it a whole bunch of times, then just give up. So I'm going to suggest two things. One, the first one is that you make of this passage an exercise, and that you put it into another part of your range. So that one starts on a B, I'm going to come down to an E. So this is in a very different part of your range. It's not in that high mix. But what you can do down here is imagine that you're going to keep a narrow feeling. It's in your speechy voice. It's in the lower part of your range, but you're going to think of it as being up here. A world that's full of happiness that I have never known. Keep it really narrow, small. And another thing I would suggest is that instead of using the words, that you use a vowel that's very easy to sing, that's narrow. Ni, 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 ni. Ni, 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 ni. So that it's really like what the mix would be like when you take it higher. Then take it a half tone up. So we started on the E, go up to the F. Then take it a half note higher. Start it on the F sharp. Now you may not get all the way up to where the song actually sits, but you gradually take it a little higher until you feel like you've gotten about as far as you can comfortably. Leave it then. Come back to it another day. Can keep working on your technique and that part of your range. That's important too, because it may simply be that you've never really mastered that technique. For idea number 2, what you do is you sing all of those exercises as somebody else. Pretend you're another singer. Perhaps you listen to one of those videos where you hear a bunch of different singers singing that particular phrase, and I know there is at least one of those. And you choose a singer whom you like, and then before you sing this, the exercises on vowels, or you could use the words for this, you imagine singing as that person. You are that person. Sometimes you just have to get out of your own way, because we feel, I'm sure even those singers who are on stage all the time, they also feel vulnerable. But we feel vulnerable in a way that sometimes limits us from doing what we actually can do. And by getting out of yourself and pretending that you're somebody else, that can be very helpful. So that's one idea in my second set. The second one is to imagine that you've got a different emotion going on here. Instead of it being longing, and instead of it being, oh, so full of emotion in a particular way, choose another emotion. Perhaps choose something happy and think of very, very light. So it would be, yeah, 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 yeah. Really light. So you experience in your throat a different feeling than you're used to, and take that up the scale. One more possibility is to make of that phrase something entirely different. Make it into a jazz lick. Use jazz vowels, jazz consonants and vowels. Bam-bida, 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 day. And then take that up the scale. If none of those things works for you, and you don't have any other ideas, let it go for a while. Put the song away. There's so many songs that you could sing that don't have that particular problem. Leave it. What you can do, though, and what I do if I've got a problem in a song that just isn't fixable right now, when I'm doing my technique, I'll think about that song and say, okay, that part of that song is in mind now as I work on my technique here, just so that you're building kind of a synapse in your brain that's connecting what you're working on now with what you want to do. I hope these things were helpful to you. If they were, let me know, and I wish you great singing. See you next time. Bye-bye.